I can't believe I've been in the Dominican Republic for almost 4 years already. When I first got here, my first apartment was so tiny. Everything in that apartment was tiny. We had a tiny little fridge, tiny bedroom. We had nothing in that apartment. We loved it, but it was so small. And then we moved here to this one, and we have 2 bedrooms now. We have a porch. However, every year the rent goes up. So we're kind of trying to decide if we want to move or not.
Hello, hola, it's Yanni and Kayla. Hola, hello from the DR of Buffalo.
Technically, I am a foreigner here in the Dominican Republic. My husband is Dominican, but I have rented both of the apartments. They've been in my name. We asked the landlord of this apartment to put it in both of our names, and he said no for some reason. I don't know if it was more work for him to add 2 names to the rent agreement, but he put it in mine. So I have been the one who has rented both of our apartments. All that they asked for was my passport and a letter saying that I had a job here with my salary on it, my monthly salary. I feel like that was it. They didn't really ask for much. However, I have heard people who try to rent in Santo Domingo. We're in San Pedro, but in the capital, I've heard that they asked for visa, like you have to have proof of residency or proof of a visa in order to rent in the capital. But in San Pedro, I don't really think they care about that. And then money-wise, so when we left our old apartment, they kept the last month's rent because we didn't have to pay the last month's rent. We did have to give a 30-day notice. We gave her like 2-month notice just because we knew her, but you should give a 30-day notice. But if you don't, they have the last month's rent anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's just kind of courtesy, I guess. But she then kept her deposit. So we had a full month's rent as deposit that we should have gone back technically if we had like fixed everything up when we left. So we knew she was going to keep it. That situation may not be every landlord, but we knew her and we knew she was not about to give up her deposit. Because we knew that we weren't getting our deposit back, there are some things we didn't do. Like we did not paint the walls. These walls already, we've been here for almost 2 years and it's like bubbling and the paint just comes off from the humidity. So we didn't do that. We didn't cover or like fill in any of the holes in the walls, which they're cement walls. And we had to drill holes to put things on the walls, to hang pictures and everything. We left all the holes in the walls. But yeah, she kept the deposit and then she just filled it in and paid someone to paint and everything and took care of it. And then if we leave this apartment, we'll probably do the same thing where we'll just leave our deposit and then he can fill in all the holes and take care of all of that. Because we put a fan in, we put like a ceiling fan in the living room, we put in a hot water tank. So if we move, we're taking all those things with us. And so there's going to be some stuff that he's going to need to fix up probably from that. But again, that's what the deposit is for. That's another thing. So we put screens in the windows in our old apartment. So when we left that, we took all the screens out and took them with us, but they didn't fit these windows. And thankfully, screens were included in this apartment. However, this one didn't have a hot water tank and it didn't have a ceiling fan. So we put those in. And then if we had put an air conditioner in the wall, we would take that out and take it with us. Everything, light bulbs too, like everything that we put in the apartment, we will take out and bring with us when we move. We're not expected to leave those things. So if you're wondering logistically, financially, what it looks like to move to another apartment or switch apartments, we will need to have 3 times the amount of the rent. So we would have to pay first month's rent, last month's rent, and then the deposit. Which again, we haven't gotten the deposit back, and then the last month's rent covers the final month that we're there. So we don't get any of those back ever. Maybe some people do, but I haven't heard of anyone getting their deposit back. So we need 3 times in cash, in Dominican pesos, which is kind of a lot of cash to have and carry around. Then we have to pay for the contract. So both times we paid for the landlord to pay a lawyer to type up a contract for us to sign, like the rent agreement. So we paid for that, which I feel like it was only $20 maybe. It wasn't super expensive. And then we also had to set up our own electricity and our own Wi-Fi. So we went to the two companies, which are EDSD and Altice. I had to bring my passport, and I had to have that rental contract. They would not sign me up for any services without that paper. And that paper is supposed to match my name. So the first time we had a lot of trouble because my passport had my middle name on it, and then when they wrote up the rental agreement, it didn't have my middle name, and they refused to give me electric service. Even though like the number matched and everything, they wouldn't do it. So we had to go back to the landlord. She had to type up a new contract, and then I had to go back to get the electric. So just make sure you check that your name matches your passport, matches your documents, like the rent agreement and everything, because that was kind of a pain. It just was extra time, and then we didn't have electricity, but it all got figured out. But the electric company and the Wi-Fi, they just asked for my passport and then that document, and then they signed me up for service. The electric took a couple days for them to come, and then the Wi-Fi, I feel like they came the next day. They called and said they were there to set everything up. That was the first time that I got an apartment. And then when we moved, we just had to switch over our Wi-Fi. They had to do something, but we just carried our router over here, but they had to come and like set it up and everything. It wasn't that difficult. We did have to pay for that. I feel like it was maybe 2,000 Dominican pesos. It wasn't a ton of money, but it was extra, like an extra service fee to transfer the Wi-Fi. But those are really the only two utilities that we have, because there's no gas anywhere, and we just have a gas tank that we have to take to the gas station, fill it up, and bring it back. And water, we don't pay for water, but that water is not good. Can't drink that. So we have to pay separately for water to be delivered, but it's not like considered a utility because it's just bottles of water that we get. And Mariano goes himself to fill it up now, so we don't even have anyone deliver it anymore. There are trucks and you can get water delivered. And the last thing I just wanted to mention was why we're moving. So the first apartment we had, we paid 11,000 pesos at the beginning, and then she raised it to like 14,000 pesos over 2 years. So she raised it to 12, and then she raised it to 14. And that's a lot for one bedroom, one tiny bathroom, no porch area, no place for the washing machine. Our washer was in our bathroom. And then she wanted to raise it to 16, and we were like, yeah, no, we're going to move. So we found this one for 11, and it was perfect. It's 2 bedrooms, massive porch, an area for the washing machine upstairs, a roof to hang the clothes on, plenty of space, and it was 11,000 pesos. So we came here, but now after a year, he raised it to 13, and we're just coming up on 2 years now. And we're hoping he doesn't raise it again, because we can't pay that much. That's too much for us. So that's why we're thinking, okay, maybe we might have to move if he does raise it again. I don't know why they raise it. I guess, yes, gas becomes more expensive and things get more expensive as time goes on. But we're always able to find an apartment for the same price. Like the first one was 11,000. This one was 11,000 pesos. So I don't really know. In the Dominican Republic, it's very common for landlords to raise the rent every year, because after a year, your contract goes up, and then you kind of just pay month per month. So technically, our rental agreements expired. I don't know. So we're just kind of here, I guess. I guess we could get another contract, but I don't see the purpose. We don't really need one. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It is winter in the Dominican Republic now, which means it's 18 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it is quite cold in the breeze with the wind and everything, which is one of my favorite things about the Dominican Republic, is that we're on the second floor and it's always windy. So we always have our windows open, and we don't have an air conditioner. We haven't needed one yet. I feel like we're getting to the point where we might buy one, but this far we've been good without it. If you have any other questions, let me know, but that's it. Peace out.
I'm doing fine, so ease your worried mind. Sit back and close your eyes. Yeah, this land is a paradise, and the people are so very nice. I'm happier than I've ever been in my